Hi, everyone. Welcome to the information session for the Management Development Program at UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. My name is Vincent Chain, and I'm the program manager, and I'm excited to talk to you about our program starting in October today. So to start by giving you an overview of what we'll be talking about today, we'll do some program introductions so you'll know who to contact with questions you might have about the program after the information session. And then of course, we'll talk about program logistics, when it starts, how much it costs. We'll also be joined by one of our instructors, and we'll have a chance to interview her as well. And so you'll get a chance to ask her some of your questions about the program. And then we'll also talk about how to enroll in the program and then follow up with any more information. If you have any technical issues as we go along, please let us know by the chat if you have any difficulty hearing us or seeing us. And then if you think of questions as we go, definitely submit them through the designated Q&A function in Zoom. And that way we can help keep track of all the questions that come in. So before we get started, we want to make sure that this information session is really tailored to who's joining us today. This is one of our favorite things about information sessions, really getting to know the people who are with us on the call. And so I'm going to run a poll so we can learn a bit more about you. And this one is about your experience as a manager. So if you could take some time to share your background, maybe some of your career changers, maybe some of you are new to management, and maybe some of you are experienced managers. Go ahead and take some time to answer that poll, and then we'll actually come back to this and share the results in a few slides. Okay. So while you're all answering that poll and sharing your background as a manager, I want to talk about the program contacts for the Management Development Program. So I want to start with Kristin Craig. She's our enrollment coach, and she'll be your first point of contact with any follow-up questions you might have about the program. She's also happy to talk to you about your background and experience and see how the Management Development Program aligns with your goals and can help you reach your professional development goals. Again, my name is Vincent Chain. I'm the program manager. I coordinate with our instructors to develop the program. I'm excited for you all to hear about what we have planned. And then after you enroll through Kristin, I'm happy to talk to you with any questions you might have about program policies or support you as the program goes along. And then also on the call today, we're joined by Joanna Siebert, the Associate Director for Business Programs. Joanna, would you like to say hi?
Definitely. Thank you, Vincent. Hello, everyone. We're excited to have you with us and look forward to giving you some great information and hearing your questions.
Thanks, Joanna. And then later in the presentation, Joanna will be interviewing one of our instructors, and I'm excited for you all to meet her in a little bit. So again, Kristin Craig, the enrollment coach, will be your first point of contact if you have any questions after this information session, or if you'd like to review some of the information we talk about today. Again, we are recording, so we'll share that recording by follow-up email and on our website. But here you'll see there's a Calendly link so that you can schedule a meeting with Kristin face-to-face online. You can also call or email her. And then after the information session, as a thank you for all of you for sharing your time with us this morning or this afternoon, you'll receive a follow-up email with a $100 discount code, and you can apply that towards tuition in the Management Development Program. Okay, so thank you all for taking time to answer the poll. Let's go ahead and share the results here. So, it's a pretty even split in the group that's joining us today. 50% are not yet a manager, but want to be, and that's really exciting. Our program is accessible for career changers, and the instructor joining us, Kristin Bennett, can talk about that in a little bit. And then 50% have been a manager for 2 to 6 years. And so you'll have a different perspective on the field, having had that experience. And so you might be more interested in sort of more subtle or unique challenges that come with that. So thank you all for sharing your experience. And then we'd like to do another poll to get to know you all. If you could please share what brings you to the information session today. What's your interest in the management development program? And so some of you might be interested in apply, sort of takeaways that you can apply to your job right away. Some of you might be candidates in the field. So go ahead and share those thoughts, and then we'll revisit this poll in a few slides. And while you're answering the poll, I'll talk about important program logistics. So it's easy to enroll. You can enroll online, you can contact Christy, you can contact our student services team, and it's over 3 weeks, and it's 3 live class sessions on Zoom. So students in the program will get access to Canvas, which is our online learning management system. That's where you'll access Zoom links, course materials, and you can even contact your instructors through Canvas or program staff like myself. And so it'll be October 12th, 19th, and 26th. And it's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time those days. So it's 3 days over 3 weeks. And there are built-in breaks and lunch breaks, of course. And so those classes will be a mix of lectures, group discussions, breakout rooms, and learning activities as well. And then each of those class sessions builds off of one another, and you'll get takeaways that you can apply right to your job and your management style working with your team right away. I think that's really important in the design of our program, that you have takeaways that you can apply immediately. And then the tuition for the program is $1,950. But remember, there are discounts available. I did mention that everyone attending live will get a $100 discount code, but feel free to reach out to Christy. She can talk to you about other discounts that you can consider as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and share the results from our second poll. Again, this is what's your interest in the program? Okay, and so 33% of you said, I'd like to improve my capabilities in my current job, and that's great. Our instructors work with a wide range of people from a variety of management styles and backgrounds, and they can definitely speak to that. And then 67% of you are exploring options for your professional development. Oh. Let me go ahead and actually share those results so you can all see the numbers that I was just sharing there. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. And let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our Associate Director, Joanna, to introduce our instructors.
Thank you, Vincent. Well, I am really excited to be able to work with this really great set of instructors on our management development program. One of the core pieces, so each day has a different instructor, and they bring different styles, different objectives for what they want to help our participants learn and be able to do by the end of their class session. So I'll start with Gavin Ambrosini. She will actually be teaching towards the end of the program, but Gavin is a professional certified coach and an organizational development consultant. She's partnered with a number of senior level executives and emerging leaders on career development and leadership strategies. Gavin is a Gallup certified strength finder and coach and facilitator. And one of the things that she'll be doing in this program is using an assessment that we'll provide to our course participants called the strengths assessment. Many of you may know it, but really with the lens of how to apply this as a manager or when you're working with teams. And so we do a bit of a deep dive into your strengths so you can get to know those better, but especially focus on how you can learn about other people's strengths and work with them most effectively to create an engaging workplace and increase productivity. Another instructor who will be teaching in the management development program is Lisa Montanaro, and Lisa is a really dynamic speaker and has worked with just many different companies and individuals on productivity, organization, motivating staff, and really reaching that peak performance. And so we're really excited to have Lisa teaching in the program, and look forward to getting to go through each of these class sessions. But kicking off our program will be Kristin Bennett, who I'm really excited to have with us here today. Thank you, Kristin, for being here. Kristin is a human resources program manager, program manager responsible for training and organizational development, and she is a really engaging instructor. I've seen her do some really great work with our course participants. You know, she has a great level of expertise and experience working with current and future leaders to move them from intention to action. And so, Kristin, we're going to be really excited to hear more about your instructional style and what you'll be bringing to the class. Welcome. So Vincent, we'll go ahead and stop sharing and welcome you, Kristin, to our wonderful party here, and allow you to say hello and introduce yourself if there's anything you'd like to add.
Well, thanks so much. You gave me a really great introduction. I think that's sufficient. I think that's, I'm just coming, you have to excuse me. I have a little bit of a trainer buzz going. I just finished training a group of supervisors for this same program, and they put me in a really great mood. So I'm excited for this discussion today.
Great. Well, we will definitely be grateful for that energy and that enthusiasm. I know you bring such a strong love of learning and development to your sessions. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you think is so important about management and leadership training?
Yeah, so I believe that leaders exist at all levels within the organization. And what's important is, you know, regardless of what service industry you're in, whether you're in the public sector, whether you're in the private sector, people are the same, right? People really just want to feel like the work that they do every day makes a difference, that they are contributing to, a greater good, that they can have some sense of mastery over what it is that they're doing. And because of that, leaders will start to emerge at all levels, whether they have the title of a leader or not. But where management is interesting, and where I think it's important to talk about management and leadership, is a strong manager or a strong management team can really help to activate the people who are leaders, you know, just within their hearts, maybe not by title, but leader by choice, because they are responsible for creating the culture and the structures that need to exist to drive the results that the organization is really after. So I'm very passionate about working with managers to help them see where they can be most impactful in creating that culture and examining the structures so that leadership can exist everywhere in the organizations that they work for.
Wonderful. And what do you think are some of the challenges to management that our prospective students might bring, or that you've noticed as you've worked with different groups?
I think a really obvious challenge for us all right now is a lot of organizations that I've been working with have been trying to figure out how to either do a hybrid telework model, work from home. Some people are in the office. How do I, as a leader, really make sure that my team is doing what they're supposed to do, and that people are feeling still engaged and connected, given that we're not all in the same space and can't have that water cooler chatter that maybe we used to have before. And the other thing I think that's really a challenge is I think that a lot of people are starting to recognize that some of the traditional leadership philosophies that a lot of us grew up hearing and believing, that this is just what managers do and this is just how you have to behave, they're starting to see that that really doesn't work so well for the workplace anymore. And so they're having to reckon with, how do I update my leadership philosophy so that I'm effective in a 21st century workplace? And we talk about all of that in this course, getting people to examine that and see how do they need to adapt to make it work today.
Great. And so what are some of the specific tools or the topics that you address or are planning to address in the upcoming course?
Yeah, I think I have a slide. Vincent, would you be able to share with me really quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things you'll learn is we're model heavy, right? Models are beautiful because they give our brain a sense of structure that gives us freedom to be able to talk about things that we've been kind of sensing but aren't able to put words to. And so quickly, I just want to share this with you. This model is the pyramid of influence, and I introduced it on the first day, but I'll give you all a freebie since you're here with us today. The pyramid of influence, it replicates any organization that I've ever consulted with slight variations depending on the size, but here's how it works. What it shows is that depending on what level you are at in the organization, you have a different lens of influence, and that's going to dictate who and how you need to be in order to be effective in your role. So at the very top of the pyramid, you have those who are responsible for strategy. That's your CEO, your director, your whoever's at the top of the food chain in your organization. They are, setting the vision. They're, really clear on where they need to go, what we need to do next, what results we're after, what yes and no to. They are providing strategic influence to the end. Then you have folks that are responsible for the structure and culture of an organization. Traditionally, this is managers, though they don't always know, and I'll tell you some more about that in just a second. So they are looking at how do we take the strategy and translate that into structures that need to exist. What does it feel like to work here? How are people treated once they come through our doors? And they provide a leadership influence. Then you have folks that are responsible for key process. And traditionally, these are supervisors. So they are providing the technical and tactical expertise and influence. Here's best practice for how to get this done. They most likely were promoted up through the ranks, so they have some job knowledge on how to get things done. And so they're usually really good mentors and coaches in that role. And then you have folks that are responsible for operations. Now, whether you are selling a product or whether you are serving people, you have people responsible for helping the people. They are providing influence over service delivery. And so I'm sharing this with you. It might seem like, well, yeah, that does sound like how my organization is set up. Here's where I notice that it goes wrong. And here's what we'll talk about in this series rather. What I find is usually there's a lot of training, love, and attention that goes to the folks in operations who are responsible for service influence, because we want to make sure we get it right. If those folks aren't getting it right, we'll know, because people vote with their feet and with their money, and they'll leave, or they won't, patronize our business, or, they won't want to work with us. And so most organizations recognize that we have to give training and attention to developing those folks. I also notice that usually people who are at the very top and responsible for strategic influence know their roles really well. They know what the vision is, they know the results that they're after. But what I find is that usually in the middle is where things start to get a little bit messy. And here's why. If you were promoted into a supervisory role from an operations or service delivery role, okay, I got to supervise something, I got to do something, right? And if you're a manager, you got to manage something. But very few organizations make it clear and explicit that structure and culture is the role of a manager. And so they end up focused on the wrong things, managing the wrong things. And that makes the supervisors nervous, because they know that they're supposed to be doing something, because they're a supervisor now. What am I supposed to do? And it creates micromanagement, compaction, poor decision-making. People aren't in their lanes, and it can really make your organization stagnant, and you don't get the results that you want. So with this series, what we'll do is talk about how do managers work on creating the right type of culture, and how do they examine the structure so that they can advocate for change when needed, they can get resources for the staff when needed, so that really the organization gets the results that it's truly looking for.
That's a wonderful explanation. And I want to invite our participants to start throwing in questions to the Q&A form if you'd like to ask Kristin anything. Kristin, I think you've given us a great example of what your style as a trainer and as a teacher is, what else do you like to bring to the classroom for yourself in terms of your enjoyment of teaching these classes? And what do you hope for from the people who arrive in your class and are ready to learn what you have to offer?
Well, thanks for that compliment, Joanne. I'm not just going to let it slide by that. I try very hard to be an engaging instructor. I know it's really hard to commit to sitting in training all day. And so if you're going to invest your time, I'm going to make it worth it for you. I give a lot of resources, tools, tips, things that you can use immediately when you hang up on the Zoom to start working with your team. And we talk about how to use it. But also, I'm going to make you work. This isn't going to be data dump where I'm just, any of the instructors are just, giving you information. We want to give you tools and strategies so that you can become even more effective and confident in your role.
That's great. Well, Vincent, I think we can keep moving. Kristin, are you okay to stay with us for another minute or two in case any questions come in? We'll make sure that we take time for that. But Vincent, feel free to move forward with the information session. Thank you,
Okay.
Kristin. That was very helpful.
Yes, thank you, Kristin. So now that you've heard more about the program, let's talk about next steps when you're ready to enroll. This is our website here, cpe.ucdavis.edu, and you can enroll directly online. And so you can also read more about the course and check program dates, check your schedule. And then if you're not quite ready to enroll quite yet, or you have follow-up questions, let's talk about next steps with that as well. So again, you can follow up with Kristin Craig, our enrollment coach. She has a Calendly link. This is also available on our website. And then you can also give her a call or send her an email if you have any follow-up questions about the program. And then again, look out for a follow-up email from Kristin, and that'll include the $100 discount code for those attending live. And then they can apply that discount code towards tuition. So thank you all for joining us, but we'll go ahead and stay on. If you have any questions, go ahead and submit them through the Q&A box. And then Kristin's here and she's happy to answer your questions as well.
So Kristin, while we're giving it a minute, I did think of one question. As we saw in those poll results, we have some people who may be new to management and some who are experienced managers. What do you think that mix of experience brings to the learning space when you're training?
I always love when we have a mixed experience in our cohorts, because I think it just adds an extra level of richness to the conversation. Those who have been in their management roles for a while are able to offer a lot of guidance and insight and mentoring, and sometimes can even ask questions about specific scenarios that they have come across that open up the conversation to places that we never even planned on. So that's always really exciting. And then for people who are not yet in the role of a manager and new, I love it when you're able to come to training before stepping into the role, because it really gives you an opportunity to start to think about, who do you want to be as a manager, and what do you need to put in place to establish your framework so that when the opportunity presents itself, you're ready to go. What questions maybe do you want to ask to experienced managers? I've been a manager for a long time, but the value of having people who've been in a management role for a long time, that way better than whatever I could tell you, right? It's the on-the-job experience that is really great. And the other thing I think that's important to say is, if you're not sure whether this course would be right for you or not, because you are experienced, again, in the course that I teach, we really do spend some time thinking about the ways that leaders can challenge themselves to modernize their leadership philosophy, to eliminate practices that really just aren't serving them well. And it may be that we don't even think about these things. It's just kind of, it becomes autopilot in what we do every day. So taking time to pause and think about being more intentional, and what do we want to create and what do we need to create for our organization to thrive. Leaders have said they find a lot of value in.
Thank you. I know I've learned a lot from being able to participate in your classes, and we really appreciate having you here today. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited for the program to start and for you to be able to meet our new cohort of students in October. So
I can't wait.
Thank you, Vincent. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you again, Kristin, for joining us. And thank you again, Joanna, for leading that discussion. I'll just leave everyone with, again, this slide to cpe.ucdavis.edu. So remember, when you're ready to enroll, you can go to this website. And then if you have follow-up questions, Christy will send a follow-up email, and that'll also include her Calendly link, her phone number, her email address, so you'll know how to contact with her. So thank you all for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the program.